This is Reverend Dr. William J. Barber II, President of the North Carolina NAACP and pastor of the Greenleaf Christian Church in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Last week, the entire world saw the failure of the American judicial system. Last week, September 21st, 2011, 11:08 p.m., we witnessed criminal injustice execute an innocent man, Troy Davis. Last week, we saw a system that was so blinded by revenge it could not see justice. 7 witnesses recanted, but the system could not see justice. A former FBI director said this was wrong, but they could not see justice. Former wardens, including the former warden of the prison where Troy Davis took his final breath, said, "Stop. You are wrong and you will regret this," but the system could not see justice. Politicians who are often on the opposite side of the political spectrum said there is too much doubt, but the system was still blinded by revenge. The religious community, Protestant, Catholic, Jewish, Muslim, and others cried out, "Not in my name," but the system could not see justice. People who themselves have been exonerated from death row and know the flaws of this system all too well said, "I am Troy Davis," but the system could not see justice. In the last few days in our nation, we have heard and seen people who have become so insensitive, so hard-hearted, that even at political debates, they actually applauded the state machinery of death. They have come to believe executions are a badge of honor for the state acting in our name. They have convinced themselves that despite our flawed humanity that has never been able or capable of rendering perfect justice, that we can somehow take the place of God and assume authority to take another human life. They have convinced themselves that we as humans can overcome the void caused by death with another death. This is sad, tragic, that the spirit of revenge blinds us so. The scriptures teach us, however, that some deaths actually serve to expose evil openly. Some deaths force us to look at evil directly, Paul said in Colossians. Some deaths shake us so to our core that we become even greater ambassadors for change and for life. Troy Anthony Davis, has now joined tens of thousands of other martyrs in the long march against legalized lynching and for the cause of justice down through the ages. If you look back in history, especially during the days of Jim Crow, down in Georgia and across the South, the death penalty was almost exclusively used against black men. One of the NAACP's founding principles was to fight the sinister reality of lynching, and W.E.B. Du Bois said we had to shame the nation to look at this ugly reality. In North Carolina alone today, defendants, be they black or white, with white victims are 3.5 times more likely to receive the death penalty than when the victim is black. And in the nation, some statistics show that a black man is 6 times more likely to receive the death penalty if the victim is white, and that poor people are 3 to 5 times more likely to receive the death penalty, whether they be white or black. In this nation since 1976, nearly 200 persons have been exonerated from death row. Nearly 200 people we would have killed if the system of death had simply worked faster, that we now know are innocent. Yes, Davis is now another martyr in this long struggle. A martyr's death is greater and has more power when it is placed on the bending arc of justice than the meanness that killed him. That's what we must know. In the martyr's death, the death of the very system that kills the martyr is sown. When the martyr dies, his or her voice is not silenced, but rather cries out from the grave, echoing and reverberating through the universe, serving to fertilize and give birth to new and stronger movements against the very system that kills them in the first place. The mean might rejoice in the death of Troy Davis, the martyr, but in the spiritual realm, he is not destroyed. His spirit is released to inspire even greater work against the systems of injustice. The name Troy, according to some definitions, means foot soldier. Foot soldiers are those who keep pressing on against great odds on the battlefield of life, step by step, until victory is won. Troy Anthony Davis was a foot soldier for justice. His spirit was too big for a jail cell. And even now, his spirit is too large for a casket. His voice, echoed by his own last words of love and imploring us to keep on working for justice, has now been released. And it will call us again and again to keep on marching, to keep on fighting, to keep on pushing for justice, to say to God, walk with us while we're on this tedious journey. So from now on, when we say, I am Troy Davis, let it mean that we too are foot soldiers for justice. Let it mean that we too will never retreat, but will press on until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream for all of God's people. Amen.